Welcome to Cannabis School. I'm your host, Jesse Angeles.
And I'm Brandon Elder.
And we're here to talk to you about everything pertaining to cannabis, from vape,
flower,
edibles,
strains,
and everything in between.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey, kids.
Got an exciting episode today.
Well, we're going to be able to talk a little bit more about the real cost of cannabis and what it takes not only to buy it, because we're all concerned about price. We want to make sure that we're getting high quality. Some of us are like, dude, give me whatever.
Cheapest. I just want the most flour that I can get for as much.
Can I get a pound for $600? Wow. Okay. Yeah, I got some dried shit here for you. But one thing that we've been thinking about, and I know we know a lot of you are there, we've got two different places that you're going to be able to get that typically as a consumer. Now, one is your dispensaries or pharmacies if you're in a medical state.
The other one is next to your outlet.
Yeah.
It's the plug.
Yeah, your plug. And nowadays it's a little bit more difficult for people to start justifying to either spend with a dispensary and then run the risk of finding a quality plug. Because they're not all there. I mean, a dispensary to me, I'm like a little bit more pricier, but I'm hoping that it's quality grown.
That it's a better quality product.
Right.
Yes. And sometimes you will find that it can be a better quality product, depending on your dispensary, on the grower, on the product you're getting. Unfortunately, sometimes you might find that your plug has a better product, better quality, better pricing, better experience, which is quite unfortunate. But even then, we've talked about like pricing, even getting it for an eighth. And we've seen such various pricing differences all around the nation or even around the world. Like right now, we talked about it because one of our favorite places or products that we pick up often is Dragonfly products.
Yeah.
And they've got deals that they were doing that were some of their flour was $25, $35 for the eighth, which for Utah, that's a really good deal, actually.
And we know that, I mean, and the biggest reason, I mean, we even said that when we had Marathon not too long ago, we're not fanboys of Dragonfly. What we are is fanboys of quality grown, very transparent processes that they brought us in, they showed us everything. And we've tried others, not to say that they're bad, but the quality isn't the same. But at the same time, though, it's like, when you hear from products such as companies like Dragonfly, and they have this premium product, and that's why it costs that's why it costs so much. And we would hear that, just like, that's hard to compete with something that's cheaper. I mean, you look across the U.S., dude, like, here's this thing. I'm just going to give a couple of sets. So it's utilizing data from Cannabis Business Times. And this goes from 2020 to 2025, but I'm going to start with 2025 first.
Okay.
So in California, right now, average price per ounce is $74.
I could see that because they do have a lot of really low-priced places in certain oversaturated areas, and then dispersed out further, there is a little bit higher pricing. So,
but in 2020, it was $150. So that's a big drop.
Yeah.
It's a 50% drop. So that's like, okay, so price is going down. Michigan, it's $83.70.
Yeah.
It used to be $419.
Which is an insane amount and that's their average, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their average was $419.
80% reduction.
Even here, where I felt like it's been incredibly high priced, I actually saw you can get ounce, maybe it's not top shelf, but you can get an ounce of flour over at some of the dispensaries for like $180, which again isn't top shelf, but $180 in a legal state where you can get it. That's not the worst pricing I've seen either.
No, it's pretty decent. And that's the thing too. I mean, like, you look at states like Connecticut, New Jersey, it's $300 plus per ounce, but it's a newer market. And newer markets are, even though you have mature cannabis markets being Oregon, Colorado,
Washington, California,
Arizona.
Arizona, New Mexico. I mean, we've got a lot more East Coast that have a bunch in there as
Yeah,
well.
that had really come up. I mean, Oklahoma is a big standout.
Yeah,
of
they've
being the
had at
most
least
mature out there.
4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, I mean, Florida's been out there for a while too, but it's been a medical
Yeah.
state. It's one of the highest producing medical states,
Interesting.
but they have a ton per capita. They have a
Mm-hmm.
ton of dispensaries, tons
Really?
of dispensaries. Yeah, well, they're in the top earners
Well,
in there, and they're in the
they also
billions of
have-
dollars.
They have a
every year.
lot of hemp-based products as well. I've got a friend out there, and because he doesn't have his medical card, he plays in the hemp side. And I was like, bro, you just have to get your card because the product quality difference is
Bleh.
like, why would you even touch that?
So I mean, it also varies like from West Coast to East Coast.
Yeah,
And that can,
surprisingly.
but it's like one of the things like West Coast, like big harvest yields, mass supply, low prices, like in California. But it's robust variety. They have frequent flash sales, and we'll talk about looking for sales around the pricing as well. But on the con side,
all in like California and stuff.
yeah, it's
West
oversupply,
Coast. Yeah.
regulatory patchwork, and gravy market presence. Unlicensed seem legit by sellers. And that's where that gray market comes in. Where that gray market, it's these companies, like we were just talking about it before we got on here. In Oregon, you guys have so much weed, so
Yeah.
much cannabis that
Well, they oversupplied back in 2020, 2021. It was
Mhm.
millions of pounds over. But it was like they will never go through that product base. And yet they're growing again and again and again, just like everyone else. So then what happens to all this product?
I would be
Like,
curious. I mean, if there was out there, maybe we'll create a statistical data gathering for this one, but I'd like to be able to understand from those that are plugs out there who listen to our show. Did you see during the pandemic, did you see a lot more flour coming into the market for way cheaper? Were you able to buy it cheaper per pound as opposed to where it was because they
my
had
pricing
so
for products.
well,
went
you
up.
think about Oregon. I mean, that right there is a triggering for me in my head going massive black market, gray market potential. A lot of raw flour being produced. I mean, for those in the trade, I mean, how do you get a plug in, in Idaho, right?
Yeah.
How do you get but there are those guys out there in Idaho. Totally.
They're all
There's a
over.
massive market.
Yeah.
But did that affect the market? Did the black market surge? Because what we see in the cannabis market as the commercial side,
Yeah.
your dispos, billions, billions of dollars, that black market must be in the stratosphere.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Because you know that it's, even here in Utah, when we talked with them, they were like, oh, yeah, we understand that out of our medical patients, about, what was it, less than half of the product that they buy comes from the state. So they assume that even the medical patients are buying over 50% of their products outside of the state.
And yeah, why not?
Like, what the fuck?
But the other part too, I mean, to kind of understand that, I mean, other than prices over there, we went through, we'll go into that one, the cost of being able to actually do this. Grow,
Play in that arena.
yeah, like the cost of running a small commercial grow. Here's some statistical data, right? An indoor commercial grow, so it's about 500 square feet. The setup is about $75 to $100 per foot.
Per month? Per year? Per...
Oh, yeah, I'll get to that one.
Okay.
So dedicated grow rooms, lighting, HVAC, security, compliance, and then annual operating costs, lighting, HVAC, you're expected to pay about $40 to $50K a year for utilities plus labor, nutrients, packaging, and
on a
testing.
700 square foot.
On a
facility.
500 square
Oh,
foot.
500 square foot.
And it
Okay.
costs
Yeah.
like in the setup, meaning like you're setting up everything, all
Yeah.
your lights and stuff like that. It's
Installation,
estimated,
build.
right?
all-
Your
yeah.
products, your lighting,
Yeah.
all of that's, they estimate it to be around $75 to $100 per square foot in there. That's what it's worth. It's like
Yeah.
when you go into like a McDonald's, like you really want to get into that, look up how much it costs per square foot to set that up. It's a lot of money because it's like the parking stalls at Walmart. Each one of those are equated to around $50,000 a piece per year.
Yeah. Because it's how many people can park there, which is business in there. So
So for
Yeah.
those who do really well at painting parking lots, that's a great way for you to add value to it. Well, how much does it cost per one of your? If you don't have clearly defined lines, then you don't really know how much money you're making.
Yeah.
But thinking about that, I mean, dude, 40 to 50K, that's just your operational cost.
Yeah. Well, years ago, when I made that very educational, how much disappeared so fast in what was already supposed to be an up and running operation. And to realize all of it had disappeared and none of it had even gone to the grower was kind of quite the shock.
Dude, that was that when I started getting really deep into asking him more about the finances and when he was playing coy with me, the thing that really triggered it for me was calling my friend who had a full operation in Colorado, farm, distillery, a shop, right? Three shops. And I said, hey man, like these guys raised X amount of dollars. Is that good for a small one? He laughed. He was like, oh yeah, I raised $7 million. And it was barely enough.
But he was also in Colorado too, right?
But but at the time, I was like, what would that $7 million go into? And then he explained like all this stuff that I just went through, and that didn't have the feeling that that's what was going on. No, he definitely tried to let it on that it was that way, but in actuality, it wasn't. And so when you look at those costs, right? Like the build cost 25. Oh no, that's just the commercial, indoor commercial grow. Greenhouse, $25 to $50 per square foot. Non-commercial, home, small room scale, scaled down to basement, 100 feet, might cost about $5 to $15K initially. $5,000 to $15K.
Oh, if you were to build it into a nice grow room? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In your own house. That. Now the cost of extraction, dude, that's the part. Equipment's range from 10K to 100K.
Oh yeah. Because it's all like chemistry and science. And
now you're a big farm.
Yeah.
Now you're extracting a lot. You have to produce not only carts, which are big sellers, edibles, which I would think is the second best seller, and then you have your flour or concentrates. I would say probably flour, then concentrates, just based on pricing that you see where you're at and availability. And that's the other thing too. It's just like, your grows, regardless if they're an MSO or they're a small grow, that's a fuck ton of money. Pardon my French. It is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Yeah. It's a lot of money for me to put into that one. And then people think of those who are in like cannabis, they're like, oh, well, they're making tons of money. Yeah. Like they're really
That's what you think. And you're like, oh man, look how much money they're making.
But then but I want to be devil's advocate here, man. I want to ask you, like, now that we know that, can I really get upset with the dispensary charging me that?
Well, so it's the chicken before the egg dilemma. Okay. That we have here, which they always talk about. Hey, we know that we've only got X amount of people who have come here, and we understand our prices are this high. Well, we can't justify lowering our prices because we're only selling this much. Okay, but if you lower your prices, you already said that 50% of your consumers' medical products come from out of state. So you're already throwing away 50% of your potential income from existing customers because your pricing you're not willing to lower because, well, we might not make as much. Well, you might also sell out like that and realize, holy shit, well, now we have all the money to do this next thing. Or, hey, maybe we're not gouging this because it isn't actually necessary if we do this. And, hey, we can do these things. And kind of like we learned, oh, they're charging like when Nerith was on here, $150, $200 for their card. If you're in Utah and you're paying $150 or $200 for your card, stop. Yeah. That is a waste of time, a waste of money. And there are a million other doctors here who charge half that cost. Or less.
Yeah, or less. I know one that does for $50.
Yeah, so it's like it doesn't make any sense to ever spend that much on a medical card when we learned that the QMPs are the ones who dictate that price. They could charge as low as $25 if they wanted. Yeah, and get everyone and their dog a medical card because, well, Utah's one is chronic pain and everyone and their dog has been hurting for more than 2 weeks. So, oh shit, well, my dog's got a medical card because his leg's been hurting. Oh, well, Utah's cool with that because it's chronic pain. Don't worry. Like, everyone has aches and pains. I don't think there's a human in existence who couldn't go, hey, yeah, I've been hurting for more than 2 weeks. Well, what happened? Oh, well, I'm old. Yeah, that makes sense. Fuck, here's your card. Like, you can get that. And so it's this thing of, well, the chicken before the egg. Well, do they need to lower prices? Or is it that they don't have the market they want because their prices are too high?
A lot of times, too, I think it's they're not listening to the market. Either they're creating and bringing new products out that nobody's asked for, or they haven't made their current products better.
Appealing enough to be...
That's the dilemma that we talked about. A lot of the reason why you have such varying costs in different states isn't necessarily because state regulators or plugs are just super connected. Well, that's true. That's 100% true. Yeah. Like some of the best flower we've had has been from plugs, and we're getting it from
California, Oregon, Washington.
Oh man, good stuff.
Love you, West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast, Best Coast. I mean, I know. Hey, from East Coast, but you guys know. You smoke weed out the West Coast. You know. Come on, man. Yeah. Nobody from the West Coast comes out and smokes Dragonfly going, this is amazing. They go, it's all right. It's all right.
It's some good stuff. It's not bad for being...
No, it's great.
For being a new market where we're 5 years in,
But that's the thing we talked about. Like, the reason why you're seeing an inconsistency in prices, there's no brands. And I know there's a lot of hate towards MSOs, especially from private grows or smaller grows. But the one thing that you have to appreciate from a larger brand is that they have a brand.
Yeah, you can trust them. They have that brand, that name. It's even like Budweiser. Okay, I know what I'm getting in for. This is my cheap redneck beer that, it's
But, dude,
consistent.
It's also a social status over
consistent.
there. If I'm a backyard barbecue and I've got a Budweiser and I come back there, who am I going to make a friend with? The guy's got a Budweiser because I got a Budweiser in my hand. Like, it's silly. It's a cultural thing. Yeah. But the cannabis world, I don't see there's things in the cannabis world such as Dr. Dabber. That's known.
True. Puffco. Stores and Bickle.
Big time.
Gosh. I mean, we know Stash, but I always knew... Now I can't even think of him because it's...
Shredder. No, I've known Shredder. Stone. Sharpstone,
that's what it was.
That's been
Sharpstone was around for ages. Raw rolling papers. Like there's a handful of names in the industry that have just been around forever.
And that's the thing too. It's just that there's no consistency. If there's no consistency, then you put into all those operational costs just to get this thing set up. Yeah. And I didn't even go into the cost of extraction, which I won't, because it's insane on the pricing, dude. It adds up. And on top of it, dude, the one thing that I didn't expect to find, well, I was wondering and I was curious about it, was dispensary waste and its impact on prices.
Oh, it's a ton. Because you have to think about how many, even here in Utah, where it was like, oh, we're not allowed to do certain things where we can't sell product at like really discounted rate, or we can't do, why not? If it's going to expire, like years ago, there was some company in California, I think it was like, oh yeah, we donate a certain amount of our waste to veterans or that because it's going to expire and we can just give it to them for a penny or like something that it was like, hey, legally we can't give it to them for free, but they just paid a penny or something and they got this.
Right.
Okay, cool. How many companies can do that and donate and get rid of their products to help people in need, like veterans or PTSD people or single parents or like a million other people who could truly use that and go, hey, maybe I'm not in the right, maybe I don't have the financial stability to be able to afford this medicine, let alone in certain states where, hey, again, we talked about concentrates with Nerith. Okay, well, some of those are $60, $80 for the gram.
Yeah, you're getting a booger. Pretty much. You're getting a good solid booger.
For $60 to $80. And if you're new to cannabis, that might last you enough that you can feel like it's justifiable. If you're not new to cannabis and you have any kind of tolerance...
It's going to get expensive.
That's really expensive to go, I can justify $80 a gram. Well, what if I'm using 7 grams a month? That's $560 in concentrate for that little bit a month?
Same with edibles.
Might as well.
I think that's hard in medical states too. I think it's even more difficult because the regulatory process, they're only based off of 1, their own bias, and then 2, whatever the market says. And the market is the people. But if the people just go, like, I mean, you want to know why the prices are higher. In Utah, we're a little above average when it comes to prices. Sometimes we're on the average, but we're a little above average. Like, we're not crazy price like New Jersey and Connecticut. like insane prices out there. But you also
We've
look
come
at
down a little.
yeah, but it's like Massachusetts where my mom's at. She's like, oh, we got great deals all the time. She's like, but there's a dispensary like there are in Utah with churches.
Yeah,
it's one on every corner,
maybe two.
Yeah, and they're just like, wow, this is crazy, right? But that when you've got that amount of want and need, it now takes over the market where now prices can drop down. There's stores, and then there's an opportunity for chains to happen.
Yeah.
Like I would like to have the McDonald's of cannabis, where I go there, it's the same brand, it's the same feel. We have the same type of seeds.
You do get that. Fuck. We don't get that here because of our limit of dispensaries where we're under 15 in the entire state. But in almost every other state, we do have that.
Yeah.
Like you go to Colorado, there's a bunch of them that there are. Consistently, you go to every city, hey, here's this dispensary. You
Same
can get
with
the same
Arizona.
consistency.
Yep.
Same with Arizona, same with New Mexico, California.
Yeah. Tory.
Michigan.
What was that?
Everywhere. I like Oregon, I'm sure. Oregon, it a little more dispersed, but I'm sure there's still some consistency across brands. But we don't have that here because we have under 15 dispensaries.
Yeah.
And a few of those are MSOs. So they're the ones who...
They dictate the market.
Yeah, and they're coming into it and just having all this product. And we've got smaller scale ones coming in going, hey, we're still figuring out growing. And that's where I wonder about, radiated weed. Was it the worst product? Maybe not. But maybe the starting product wasn't the best. So they...
No, but I mean, I think about where they're growing on that scale. Like you're growing significantly more. These MSOs are being able to beat the hell out of their competitors because their operational costs have already been factored in.
Yeah.
So they don't make it. I mean, you got to look at cannabis and supply chain as almost the exact same type of margins. Extremely narrow margins. It's not poorhouse by any means.
No.
They're very wealthy people within cannabis.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But there's a lot of other people that are running their businesses like they're going to B&I meetings. They're a florist or a guy who does at-home mechanic work. No shame in it, but your prices are dictated by your needs. And when you start to expand...
Your needs expand.
And then
you... But you also understand from a larger point of, hey, we've got X operational cost that has to be covered.
Right.
We have to meet this versus smaller scale that are like, hey, I'm burning 80-hour weeks and I'm not making anything. Well, why are you working 80-hour weeks? Have you not figured out a smarter way to do business yet? Have you not figured out a smarter way to structure and run your business and your grow and that? Because, again, how many people are going to grow like a business versus running it like I'm growing tomatoes in the backyard?
Yeah. And that's really difficult. I mean, you've got to be really smart on
that's
grow
the taxability, because most, you're taxed first versus most businesses where you're taxed last.
Yeah.
And so they're going, hey, we're taxed on everything we're making versus, hey, you're taxed on the income your business made for that year after you've paid out every other thing under the sun that you can think of or spend money on and go, oh, hey, look, we made this much this year.
I think about that, this is hypothetical, for instance, for Dragonfly, like you had brought up, if their prices went down to being, this is our base price now, which is comparable and compatible with everybody else. Doesn't matter on THC count, best on quality.
Yeah.
And then you did deals to be able to make sure that you're getting older product, right? You've got it's already sat on the shelf for 2 quarters. Let's get rid of it.
Right.
You do flash sales.
Yep.
Right? And you push that out where you let your people, that's where I feel like a lot of them fail. And I've only been thinking about this because of where we're thinking on our direction for social media and content and how our shows are different now. The one you're hearing now is totally different than what you heard probably last week. And so you're getting this change within this system right now that's really trying to be emphasizing on quality. And if you start to be able to do something like that where you can actually bend to the will of the consumer, you'll solve your own problem.
We just have to create an educated consumer. That is the only issue because...
But we've been down to the other farm.
Yeah.
Can they compete with an MSO?
No.
Not even close.
No. Not
even
on
close.
scalability.
And that's why they can control the quality, because when there's more hands, it's harder to be able to see who's doing what. And in there, I mean, it's a good sized facility, but it's not massive by any means.
No.
And so they're closer to it. They can touch it. But when you've got all these trimmers, all these,
Well, there's always a layer of disconnect.
right. It's
Yeah.
always going to happen. So that's why we see lower quality, or even decent quality for way lower prices, because they can beat out that other guy. It's capitalism. It's a
Yeah.
sucky part of it, because we suffer as the customer, because then we get shit product, but most of us don't even understand what that means.
But that's because we're going for that bottom shelf, bottom cheapest price. Hey, what can I get is my biggest bang for my buck. But this isn't potato chips. It doesn't matter. Like, you're not getting the same thing from Lay's to Doritos to that. It's, hey, you might pay this much to get this product here, and it's like bottom shelf.
Yeah.
And then you're going over here, and well, this is like a sipping whiskey that's been aged for 25 years, and it's got these amazing notes, and you don't need anything else. Like it's the care and that goes into it, kind of like craft brewing. You get craft
Yeah.
stuff that's done, or even coffee beans that are roasted by a craft roaster versus
Right.
any major name brand where they taste burnt and over roasted or sour notes, and you're just like, this is a very unique roast profile. Like, why is this being sold? But it's because that's what people buy, because we're just so used to the convenience and the cheap, and well, I don't need this top one, because who needs that? Like, why would I pay for that? Well, because when you drive a Mercedes, you realize that the Prius just didn't match. The feel, the handling, the comfort, the like heated, cooled seats, the
It
heated
truly
steering
is, yeah.
wheel. Do you want that with your cannabis experience, or do you want the 1965 pickup that has busted old suspension, the AC doesn't work, it doesn't have a radio? I mean, it does
bouncing.
have a radio, but the antenna is kind of disconnected, so it's super staticky,
Yeah.
and it's got paper cones, and one of the cones is slightly torn, so you hear this like weird noise all the time. You're like, well, I could drive this for really cheap. It's only going to cost me like $100 for that ounce, but like for $170 for an ounce, I could get the Mercedes G-Wagon that's like tricked out, and for some reason it's massaging my feet while I drive. I don't even know how
if
this
that's
is happening.
your deal, yeah, exactly. It's all based on that, and I think it's when you've been driving a shitty car for so long, you really don't know what comfort is. You just know that
Yeah.
it gets good gas mileage.
Yeah. Well, but
That's why you buy the cheap shit.
But then you think about it, and you don't realize that sometimes with cannabis, that car that you're thinking has really good gas mileage actually has a hamster under there, and so you're getting 2 miles to the gallon because you're having to smoke the entire ounce to get the same feeling that you would have gotten from a quarter ounce.
Right.
You know, and so you're burning through that gas versus just going, oh, hey, I got to where I was going. I barely touched on the gas, and holy shit, I'm at 100 miles an hour. Look at that. My car didn't even go 100 miles an hour. But then that's where dosing comes into play. You know.
Yeah, and that really, oh man, yeah, you're right.
So then I'd rather pay for that Mercedes or that Lamborghini cannabis experience where I don't even have to touch the gas. I literally put it in neutral, took a little puff, and damn, look, we're going 65. We're cruising, and this is dope. Like, this is right where I wanted to be. It took nothing. And I've got so much left because I didn't even touch it.
Yeah, and it really I mean, as you become more familiar with cannabis, as you start trying like concentrates aren't typically widely used by
Not as much.
Not as much, but they really
Especially
should.
newer consumers, I feel like.
But I think that's what's better. It's a better solution for them, especially on pain management, on anything that's
Longevity.
immediate.
It's
Yeah.
better than carts because carts carts have that plateau and you don't get past it. So for a medical consumer, I feel like a concentrate with even like the Puffco Pivot that's 130, or the Dr. Dabber XS that's 150, or the Bomb Cycloud that's 220.
Yeah.
Like, any of these devices are not terrible ones to get into if you do try and use concentrates, but like if you can use such small doses because you have such quality product.
Well, it's more precise. I mean, even though we were talking about like a gram, because we'll do some decent sized dabs. We're not crazy, but a gram to us, I'm like, well, that's like maybe 5-6 sessions.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. But for somebody who only needs it like at nighttime,
yeah,
that's worth it.
The founder of Puffco had a video out, and I was watching it a while back, and he was using, I think, the pipe version of theirs that they have. It looks
so
super cool. But he was talking about the amount of concentrate that you need, maybe for like each dose. He was like, in here, I'm putting like 0.03.
It's just like a pinhead almost.
Pinhead, super tiny. And he's like, this is good. You don't need more than this. This is a perfect dose. And I'm like, but so for a new consumer or someone who's doing that, how long would a gram last if you're even using that much? Because
maybe more.
Yeah, you're like, okay, well, I'm 100th, like a 30% of.
And that's why I really like the hot knife, because the hot knife is so exact. Like, yeah, you're going into it not hot, but you can pull it out and then you can drop it in, because I think we lose a lot of it on our tools.
Yes and no. The other thing I do notice with the hot knife, it still keeps a certain amount of concentrate on it, just like with the other one. It's just liquidy. So then I have to try and rub it on the side of my... I don't want to do it on the side of the banger, because then it defeats the purpose of dropping it nicely in the center. So I'm like, well, maybe that's the value, is it doesn't get it on all the upper and sides of your device.
Dude.
And then you can still wipe that extra concentrate on the thing. But when I have a live rosin and then it's been heated up, well, it's not the same consistency then. So then I'm rubbing it on the top and it's hardening, and it just is not the same consistency. So I look at that and I'm like, it still has some on there, but it makes it cleaner on your device, I think, that your device itself doesn't get all the rim sticky in that, because you're just dropping it directly into the center, which is nice for cleaning. For, everything else, that might be fantastic.
Right.
But that was my thing, because I got all excited thinking, oh, it's never going to have it on here. And I'm like, I still have to clean this hot knife.
Well,
I still have to clean this regularly.
When you were talking about that, I was like, the only device that I have used in the last several years that actually can get close to doing that is the Utilian 8. That little spoon thing.
Because you can put it on there and it drips down the center.
It'll drip there when it's
kind of like a hot knife.
Yeah, but it's exact, because it all comes off.
Yeah.
The heat just allows it. I mean, you'll get a tiny residue on there, but it's a tiny amount. That's what I liked about it. I just didn't like the atomizer. But the system that it has, it's perfect. And it's so insulated that it doesn't get warm. Every other one gets warm in my hand.
Yeah, you can feel them.
But that one's the only one. But, I've loved this conversation, because we've talked about it. I just want to hit on a couple of different things, and we'll put, we could even put this whole thing in the show notes.
Yeah.
Put like a link to it.
Yeah, we'll go into that, have that in there too. Honestly, look for deals. Look for quality products that go on sales. There's awesome ones. You can look on Leafly and Weed Maps.
Always got sales.
Don't know if, okay. I was like, I never used to check there because they never had what I was looking for when I would go. I always used to look at Cannasaver, was the website.
Cool.
It didn't have an app back then. Maybe it does now. But when I would go to Colorado all the time, I would look at Cannasaver. And I would look at, okay, I want to find concentrates. Well, I'd look through that. I'd want maybe carts, and I'd look through there, and then go, oh, what about flour? And if someone else is driving, well, I've got plenty of time on that drive to go, where are these goodies at? What do I really want? What is the strain I'm looking for? What is the type of concentrate or white, like flour? And because of that, I can go, ooh, well, it's from this dispensary and within these brands. So this is a better brand. This is a better quality. I can look here. And back when I was going to Colorado all the time, I was able to tell more of that, but I haven't gone in ages. So, I couldn't really give you a distinct brand or label in Colorado that I'm like, ooh, this has been my favorite one. Go check out
Well, because
these.
it wasn't like that. It was like just random like goodie bags.
Oh, or like I loved Buddy Boy. I went to the Green Solution often, but there's also been a lot of changes across. But look for deals. Or even if you have a plug. If you've been buying an eighth and you're like, man, I spend this much, well, ask him if he does a deal. Maybe instead of 1 cart, 3 carts is a deal. Or instead of an eighth, maybe at a 1/4 ounce, you get a discount. Like, what is it that you can go, hey, maybe I don't have to spend as much. Maybe I can get the same products, same stuff, better quality, something, and find a bargain for me. Because there's always bargains out there, whether it's in your plug or whether it's from a dispensary. You can always find some way to extend your bang for your buck without having to go to the bottom shelf and go, hey, can I just get an entire ounce of this bottom shelf stuff? Versus maybe getting, maybe you didn't get a full ounce, but maybe you got, 21 grams instead of 28. But it was really quality products, but you also spent $100. And that experience is going to be way longer lasting and better. And now instead of 1 ounce of all the same strain, well, maybe you have 3 different strains for 3 different types of experiences.
Yeah.
3 different terpene profiles, 3 different cannabinoid profiles. So you can also diversify that, which also makes your experience last longer because you're not getting so used to the one strain for however long it takes you to go through that.
Exactly. And with that, because you brought up, plugs, black market, here's some things that I really wanted, because I kind of wanted to list out some of the things that you should look for, especially if you meet a plug. If you know somebody that knows somebody, those are by far the best people that you should talk to. Talk to those around you. I mean, it's best to talk to it. Don't be talking about it on social media. But definitely, if you are at a place where you're just like, look, it's too expensive to go to the dispo, or I'm in a state where it's not that way. I'm not condoning you doing illegal activity. But if you do so, here's some things to look at. Overly crystally sprayed to boost shine. If you see that from anybody,
it's often like distillate or like a type of cannabinoid or something
really
sprayed
weird
onto it to increase your high, but then they're just like, oh, this stuff smacks. And you're like, but I don't.
And you can tell. You look at it, you feel it, you're like extremely trimmed, densely packed. So if you're getting that, it's usually pretty old, super dry.
Or maybe just not the best grow.
Yeah. So be aware of that. No smell or harsh chemical odor. I haven't had that, but no smell. I've had that. And that's a big red flag for me.
It could be really old. It could be that it's just been sitting there for so long and it's in a plastic bag or something, and it's lost all the smell.
Yeah, I've done that accidentally. Left stuff in plastic bags.
Also, there's a lot of maybe not a lot, but there's enough of products that are hemp-based that are, oh, hey, here's this and it slaps, but then it's hemp-derived products sprayed with a disty of sorts. And you're like, what is this?
Blah, blah.
Yeah, no, it's garbage.
Also, vacuum seal that crushes trichomes. So I've never seen that, where it's just like...
Yeah, because you don't think about it, but if you tighten it up really tight, it'll smash the buds, it smashes the trichomes, it can damage the flower.
Yeah, and it gets all stuck onto the plastic, so you don't get to enjoy that. So it's got to be... That's why glass is by far the preferred way to be able to... I mean, even though you get it in a bag, it's good to transfer it to a glass.
Yeah. And if it is, hopefully it's not really tight compressed, because that can be tight.
Well,
on
we've
the
had
flower.
that. We've had that from dispos. There was that big scare with vitamin E. Fentanyl contamination in cannabis is rare. They don't really have you'll hear about a story about some kid who got a joint that was laced. That because somebody else was being a complete ass.
I wonder if it's more like how often that really happens.
It's
and if
extremely
some of those
rare.
are touted in Fox News or something, where you're seeing that maybe it wasn't actually a joint laced with fentanyl. Maybe it was something else at a party, but they also smoked a joint and that kid died, but they also somehow consumed fentanyl. I don't know. I'm curious what factual data goes into some of the stories.
It's such a small amount that can kill you.
Oh yeah.
So it almost could be. It's almost like touching a doorknob and then licking your fingers out during.
Surprising, because I met a guy who said his drug of choice is fentanyl.
I know a lot of people who are addicted to fentanyl.
Really? But I was just like, not that I have any desire or curiosity around it, but I'm like, how does one even use that? Because like you said, it could be such a light dosing that could kill someone.
They inject it, or they inhale it, or they'll just put it on their tongue because the amount is so small.
Yeah.
So the amount of fentanyl that you can get to keep you high for longer is way better than bars. It's way better than heroin, because now you get a tiny
I've not heard of
Xanax. So you can, when you have this tiny amount that would look like a gram of
concentrate,
that can last them quite a while if they're being able to space it out. But the high is intense. But once you start getting more accustomed to it and the feel, it's really easy to overdose, because you're like, well, just a little bit more wouldn't hurt me.
Yeah, but it will. It'll kill you.
Yeah, it'll fucking kill you. And so it's like the way that they distribute it in the medical world is way different. Way
can-
different.
yeah,
More
I can see
controlled.
that.
It's still bad, but it's super controlled. But when you're getting it in a raw form where there is no dosing, it's just, whatever you can take. That's why when people inhale it, they're getting a lot of fentanyl all at once. If it's
Yeah.
in a powder form and it gets
yeah.
up that
I
much,
could imagine. Fuck 'em, you'd be dead. Yeah.
dude, like a little baggie full of it. So it comes there. But the last thing I want to be able to talk about real fast is check these things. Aroma, your trichomes, right? Aroma, it's got to be strong. Trichomes, frosty, visible. Color, rich hues, green, purples. Touch, slightly sticky, springy, not bone dry or wet.
I guess it depends, because sometimes I have had bone dry flower from dispensaries in Colorado just because the climate and stuff. But
I think of the springy side.
dispensary, yeah.
If it's springy, I'm okay with it because the springy is still dry, but the other side, if I go,
Oh, I hate bone dry. Like, if it's that
won't
old,
touch
it's
it.
so bad. I mean, that's what a lot of Colorado product was when I first got out there. I was like, holy shit, this stuff's dry. You let it sit for like a month. Oh, man, you like look at it and it's...
well, dude, that goes right into ash test. So many times you won't look at your weed, but if it burns white,
Yeah, the ash turns white at the end.
then you know it's pretty good quality. If it's not, it's mids. And high experience, clean, balance effect, not anxiety driven or weedy. Yeah, these are some things to think about, especially where you're talking about the price of cannabis. So whether you're going to a dispensary, whether you're going to a plug, start looking at it not necessarily as the price, but more on the experience side. So the quality is definitely going to affect it. If you're not a quality person and you're just like, look, I just like getting high all the time, peace be with you.
I still feel like quality would be the better way to do that too, though.
I do too. And that's the unfortunate thing. This is the people who buy like the cheap shelf, bottom shelf in a gallon whiskey that's $4 or $5, always on sale. Canadian host.
Oh, man.
But it's like you're drinking gasoline. But your idea is more that's better is not always true. So ask questions of your bud tender while you're there. Ask them a little bit more about the quality of it. What do you notice about it? Is it springy? Is it spongy? Is it really dry? They'll know. They'll know exactly. Oh, yeah, this is pretty dry. Yeah, because they get a stipend. They're always grabbing free weed.
Oh, yeah, they're checking stuff out.
All the time. And so it makes them better at what they're doing. But if you go there with this kind of like, give me the cheapest weed you got, expect what you're asking for. So just ask questions around it. Be a little bit more careful with your spending.
And if you are in a if you are in a state, I would honestly look and see if they have a medical program.
Yeah.
Because even if you're getting recreational cannabis, oftentimes their tax on that, Colorado's was in like 24% tax on it if you weren't a medical patient. And so if you have that card, yeah, you might pay $40-$50 or a doctor's visit, whatever.
But you also get taxes taken off.
Your taxes every time, and your product selection sometimes is better quality because the dosing is more for what your needs are sometimes, depending on what it is that you're actually using it for.
And there's a lot of people out there that do not take advantage of that. They think it's just, I got to pay for that. No.
Yeah.
You get to pay for higher quality, higher dosing with cheaper cost. So it really is worth it. But all right, kids.
Catch you next week.
Take care.